When you go to Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto, you will find a rubbing of a stele on the right side of ground floor. It tells the story of Jews living in Kaifeng, China. Kaifeng used to be the capital city of Song Dynasty. So, which means Jews came to China in Song Dynasty. That's about 1,000 years ago. Jews living in Kaifeng keep the language Hebrew. Meanwhile, they also keep most of the traditions. For example, they get rid of sinew and tendon when they eat beef. The neighbours call Judaism no sinew religion. Although the neighbours don't know anything about Judaism, they are good observers. KaifFeng Jews also celebrate Passover. Their neighbours call Jews blue skull-capped Muslims. I know Jews are not Muslim. Their neighbours can't tell the difference. This is the residential house of KaifFeng Jews. This is the abandoned well used by KaifFeng Jews long time ago. They give themselves Chinese surnames. There are 8 Jewish families in this neighborhood. They adopted 7 different Chinese surnames. Song Dynasty was later defeated by Jurchens. Jurchens built another dynasty called Gold Dynasty. KaifFeng Jews then helped Jurchens design the earliest paper currency ever circulated in human history, Jiaozi. Jews are born to be bankers. As a return, Jurchens financed KaifFeng Jews to build their own synagogue. The famous explorer Marco Polo mentioned in his book The Travels that he made Jews in Kublai Khan's palace. The Jews Marco Polo met were from Kaifeng. When Christian missionary Madeo Ridi went to China in Ming Dynasty, he found out that there are Jews living in Kaifeng. So he sent Christians to their synagogue and talked to the rabbi and bought every scripture he could find there in order to find the most original version of the Bible. After almost 1,000 years of intermarriage with their Chinese neighbors, they look completely Chinese now. As I mentioned earlier, there are 8 Jewish families in this neighborhood. 6 families allow intermarriage with their Chinese neighbors. 2 families don't allow intermarriage with Chinese neighbors. They only allow their sons and daughters to marry either Jews or Chinese Muslims. However, Chinese Muslims don't allow their daughters to marry the Jews. Therefore, the lineage ended. The rest look completely Chinese now. They even adopted many Confucian customs, such as the veneration of ancestors in their synagogue. Unlike Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews living in Europe, Jews living in Kaifeng basically had no trouble at all. But 400 years ago, they had big trouble. There is a movie Fall of Ming. It's about the story. Prince Chou lived in Kaifeng. He is very rich. He has lots of concubines, lots of kids, living in a mansion, and has lots of silver coins. He doesn't need to worry about anything, while poor people could not even afford 1 meal per day. So hungry people formed a rebel force to kill Prince Chou. Rebels were unable to circumvent the defense army. The chieftain of the rebel force was injured by a government army and lost his left eye. So they dug out the river bank of Yellow River and flooded the whole city of Kaifeng, including the Jewish neighborhood. Jews ran away in the chaos. After this battle settled down, Jews came back to their homes. The community dwindled to a much smaller one because many people were starved to death during the city siege. However, Prince Chou escaped Kaifeng before rebel force could find him. So Jews living in Kaifeng were now targeted as just a collateral damage. Here is a very funny story. This happened in the 1930s. There's a Chinese guy lived in Kaifeng. He learned Hebrew from his Jewish neighbors, but he did not even know it's Hebrew. He thought it's some kind of dialect in Kaifeng. Then he went to Shanghai to find a job there. There happened to be lots of Jews living in Shanghai to dodge Adolf Hitler's gas chamber. The total number is over 20,000. One day, when Jews in Shanghai met the Chinese guy who can speak Asian Hebrew, they were astonished. What? A Chinese guy can speak Asian Hebrew? Jews living in Kaifeng used to have their own rabbi. However, the last rabbi passed away about 200 years ago. There was no more rabbi. Then there's synagogue. When they applied for immigration to Israel, their applications were rejected. However, 5 female KaifFeng Jews still immigrate to Israel.